I'm Morey White.
I'm Tracey White.
I'm Pastor Johnny Leckie, currently virus-free. And this is the Compass Conversation Podcast. Dun, 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 dun.
I'm fading to black.
We will follow you. You have the name above every name. We will follow you, King Jesus.
I miss this. I really
Oh
missed
my
it.
goodness. Yeah,
All
I
right.
did too, because like 2 weeks ago, it was just you. And then last week...
It was just me? I don't know. We didn't do it. I didn't do anything last week.
We didn't do anything last
we
week.
skipped it.
But the prior week, it was just you, right? I think
makes
you
sense.
did something because
I think it was you and me, and then the next week it was you and me,
Yeah.
and then the next week was the three of us,
And then I thought-
nothing's happened since then.
Oh, I thought you did one by yourself.
Welcome back.
No.
Welcome back to the Conversation
Welcome back, yeah.
Podcast.
It's a shame we didn't do it last week. I know there was...
There's a lot of weirdness
it
going
just-
on,
yeah,
and some weariness and things. It was good
Well-
to take a break.
Honestly, you were concerned, and we were concerned as well, that Melissa
Yeah, Melissa, my daughter.
might have COVID-19.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So-
because she came in direct contact with somebody,
Yep.
I guess, that
did.
had tested positive. So, yeah, that was...
And then it was a
or was
really-
in proximity of them or something like that. In-
yeah. I
doctor-
can't go
'cause she
into too many
works in a
details,
doctor's
but
office,
yeah,
right?
there was somebody who came in, and they were, and and so there were delays in the testing for her, and she was bumped a little higher to be able to get a test because she works at the doctor's office.
Right.
And but yeah, so this morning, we finally got the news, and she is negative. Does
Yay.
not have COVID-19. Answered
That's
prayer.
awesome.
Woo-hoo. She
Big
is still
answer.
sick and has some issues
Yeah.
going on, but it's not that. It's
Yeah,
not that.
well, that's good. That's good.
Praise
And I
God.
know typically, we're not big worriers anyway, but we do want to do our due diligence and making
Yeah.
sure that we're being safe because, and we talked about this kind of pre-rolling. It's less about us and more about the other people that we might
Absolutely.
Yes.
negatively influence if we are carrying something and pass it on to somebody else. So we want to be as careful as we can to.
And honestly, who wants to get sick?
Yeah, I don't want to get sick.
Well,
I don't want a cold, much less COVID-19.
I know.
I hear it's pretty rough.
It is pretty rough, boy. That's right.
I don't know. I had that stomach flu, so it was influenza C, the one you don't get the thing for. But we had that this time, and that was pretty rough. Yeah, I did not enjoy that one.
Being sick in any way is terrible.
No.
No.
So that's changed a lot of things for us for now, which is cool.
Well, we feel a little more comfortable gathering.
We're together. We're not at 6 feet from each other, but
But if I cough,
that's a good idea. I think I'm going to go back a little. That's what we should
have
have
a
done. You
mask.
could have been way over there. You've been over here. I keep my mask on. This is actually not to keep you from getting it. It's to keep you from spreading
giving it.
That's right. So anyway, so that's why we had these
Right.
from the
Would
doctor's
a
office.
welder's mask work? I'm just.
well, I don't know if you cough and it all lands inside the mask.
Oh,
I guess you're right.
yeah. Right.
Put some Lysol on it.
Oh my.
The Jason from Friday the 13th
Oh, Friday
or
the 13th.
whatever.
Oh, sure. Why not?
Whatever. Yeah.
Let's start.
I'd like to just start wearing a Darth Vader mask.
Darth Vader. Yeah.
Oh, the respirator sound.
Man, I wonder if I could adapt my CPAP machine to
You're sleeping. Oh no.
because it would sound like that.
Yes.
Just wear it in public. Just walk around with your CPAP.
So I do have a legit military gas mask.
Oh.
It's the older style, that I never turned in.
Wait, yeah, you never. I didn't hear anything you just said. I didn't hear a word you just.
They never asked for it. They were
Yeah.
discontinued.
So we could have a gathering, and everybody be wearing gas masks and things, and
Pretty weird looking.
The apocalyptic church.
all right. Everybody needs to know.
Church of the Apocalypse.
Everybody needs to know we're just horsing around. We're just
We are.
kind of
We're
kids
playing.
here, trying to bring it, lighten things up a bit. We're not going to try and spread the virus. We're going to be online for a little while.
Right, and I know I'm still working from home. You're still working from home.
I'm still working from home.
Working from home.
In every area, I'm still working from home.
So the coolest thing about me being able to work from home is that's the control room in there. Let's see, maybe it's hard to see even through that camera, but through the window there is the control room, and I'm set up in there.
It's your makeshift office.
It's great. It's separate from the house, right?
Yep.
So my commute is the 20-second walk or whatever that it takes to open the door, come out, get through the gate, and open this door and everything, and it's perfect. And then I get to turn on the speakers in there in this perfectly tuned acoustic room and listen to whatever I want to listen to.
I bet it sounds amazing.
It's great.
That's awesome.
And so there's no distractions or anything like that. We're still able to keep up with the team through we're using Microsoft Teams for
cool.
So everybody's still on track with all of the stuff. It's really great.
I've been at a combination of Google Meetings and Zoom.
Yeah.
And so we're
Zoom
using
is working great. Yeah.
Zoom is working fantastic. In fact, that's what we're using. That's what our church is using right now for our Wednesday night check-in,
Check-ins, yeah.
and for some other things coming up.
Yeah.
By the way, I did get that email.
Oh yeah, we
I
heard
just
it. I was
didn't read
thinking, what
down.
happened?
I never learned to read.
Gotta read the whole thing. But in fairness, though, to you, I kind of normally an email from me to our church is once a week, and sometimes it doesn't happen, right? So because I don't want to bombard everybody. But last week it was almost every day. So I felt bad, but there was a lot going on, so that was good. I mean, I like it. We're going to, when all of this is over, when the quarantining and all that is died down, and we're actually getting together again, some of the good things that have come from this, I think, is that it's bumped up our ability, awareness, to be able to use technology to do some other things. So it's going to be a little both and.
Yeah, I was going to say,
the
the Wednesday check-in, midweek check-in, I think that's great. We should do that like every Wednesday.
That's exactly what
even
I'm
pressing on,
I'm good with it.
See, growing up, we used to do, Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night church, right?
It's Wednesday night church.
Yeah.
Like last week, it was short. We went about 30 minutes. And actually, we're going to keep doing that, even though now we do have the capability to go as long as we need.
Uh-huh.
So, and that's just because that's just an investment, I think, in some of the things we can do down the road and into the summer, into the fall. And everybody's going to be so familiar with all that stuff, too.
Sure.
They are. It's going to be a really neat thing.
Even streaming, right? Yeah. So we've been talking. If you have seen our Sunday morning stream the past 2 weeks, we already know there are some issues, okay? It's the live, just from the living room bit, but we got to fix the sound. So maybe this Sunday our sound will be a lot better. But that's all good stuff. That's good things that are happening. I said to Leona the other day, I said, I think we're actually more connected during this time as a church than we were even before.
You know what? Maybe
we're in contact during the week,
right? Because we're talking more during the week. Yeah,
I am really bad about using social media and things like that, though.
Yeah,
well, that's okay.
I'm sorry.
Well, no, that's good because like Sunday morning right now, the live stream.
Right.
Middle of the week, this is not a social media thing. It's an in-house only thing. So
that's
it's a little different. The Zoom meeting, we're all there.
That's
we
a cool
can
thing.
give prayer requests. I can check in with everybody, make sure everybody's okay. We can share things. If somebody has a need, we can immediately begin to plan just together in that setting. Hey, can you guys help with that, or you help with that? And it keeps us connected in a good way, I think. Right. So.
Oh, I have a need. So if anybody out there is listening to this, every time I go, so I've made a couple of trips to the supermarket, to get necessities. I can't find the stacked DiGiorno pepperoni, stacked DiGiorno. And I'm having withdrawals.
What needs to happen is Leona needs to make some homemade pizza crust.
Ooh.
And just bring it to you.
There you go.
I'll mention that to her.
Right,
She's fantastic.
So
my wife is awesome.
This amazing thing has happened in my house. My toilet paper doesn't seem to run out.
You've got the toilet paper.
We have, but we haven't even had to open it yet.
Is your family rationing? I mean, are they being a little more mindful of how much is being used?
I was gonna say, I mean,
That's how it is in our house.
I can take this with you.
Maybe we are. But
You're wise.
I don't know. It's lasting forever.
Wise stewards of toilet paper.
Isn't that weird? It's either lasting forever or the days are just going by really slow.
It's like maybe you need to be using
Oh,
it
it's
more
only
than
been
you are.
like 2 days. It's been 2 days. We've gone through 8 rolls.
The toilet paper thing. Again, I know we've talked about it. I know everybody has talked about it. It's like, what is wrong with people?
Right?
They're scared. I mean, because there's plenty of toilet paper.
But we're not going to the bathroom
plenty
more.
of it. We're not going to the bathroom more?
No.
I'm just saying, it's the
About the
supply
same.
chain. It's like there's plenty of toilet paper, but people go in and buy it all up.
Yeah.
Well, before long, the good news is people are going to have so much toilet paper in their house that they're going to stop buying so much every time.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, it'll come back.
Well, and that's a good thing that's going on now. I know some things are starting to return to normal. Like we went the other day, we needed some milk and eggs, and the eggs were stocked, fully stocked. And this was mid-afternoon whenever we went in.
Really?
So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we're
eggs
finding
were
more
stocked,
stuff, too.
Bread was there. DiGiorno stacked pepperoni was not there. But,
Somebody's hoarding it.
milk was there.
Did you go to
cheese was
another
there.
store? That's the other trick we did.
Nah.
We went from one store, then went together, and they had the thing we were looking for.
And maybe normally I would do something like that, but because we're trying to limit our time out in the gathering place of 10 or more people right now is the supermarket, right?
That's true.
So, and we try to limit our time.
I try not to sneeze on the fruit and vegetables.
It's probably a good idea.
But, before I never cared. I'm kidding. Just kidding. But, no, that's terrible.
So another wonderful thing. I want to bring up another wonderful thing.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
A friend of ours that we've been praying for, who was high risk pregnancy, had a baby today,
Had the
Yes.
baby. Praise God. That's
and
awesome.
Leona knows the person as well.
Yeah,
So-
it's awesome.
So
I'm praying daily.
daily we
So-
prayed for her all through her pregnancy, which has been, we've committed to that several times, and man, that
That's
9
good.
months is a long time.
That's a
to
long
pray about
time.
something. But it's wonderful because you're committed to it.
Yeah.
And
yes.
so you feel
you're
bad.
thinking about it, and you're caring more and more about that person every time you pray. for them.
Every time.
Speaking of, this is a great opportunity to say, we'd love to pray for you. So if you have a prayer request of some kind, I would be overjoyed to pray for that. It could be confidential, or you can put it in the comments below, or you can send a direct message to me, or you can send me an email, johnny@compassdenver.com, and these guys would be happy to pray for you. I'd be happy to pray for you. So just as an aside, we're praying more, and that's a good thing.
Drainage.
Cough that way, Morey. For the love,
Johnny
man.
has been asking us to get on this app,
Yes.
the YouVersion Bible
Oh,
app.
yeah.
And I finally got it because, got a newer phone, and then I procrastinated a little bit, but I finally got the YouVersion on there. And you can friend all of us, right?
Yeah.
And then send prayer requests that way as well.
That's true.
Or go through the studies with us, like we're doing this peace in an anxious time, or I can't remember the
I
exact
can't remember the title.
title.
Coronavirus.
Yeah,
It
coronavirus.
has to do with the coronavirus. In fact, let me bring
peace
it up real
in,
quick.
I think it's
Peace in uncertain times.
something
or-
like that. Peace in anxious times. Either way, it's really cool. A lot of churches are doing this, but this is a great way for us too, as if you're just a part of Compass, that we're going through during the week, and we're all reading basically the same passages and stuff. So
Find peace in troubled times,
find peace in troubled times. There you go.
which is really great.
You know what's awesome?
What?
Is
What, Morey?
Sunday
Sunday.
tied into all of this perfectly.
Yes, it did.
Didn't it,
Speaking of
though?
the YouVersion Bible app,
Yes. Now, but there's that wasn't by design. You didn't coordinate this with the virus.
No, I did not.
that's
Just to be clear, I did not
been in
meet
Mark
with the
for a
virus. And did not. We did not make plans. Yeah, it fell right where. And by the way, I didn't even make the connection till midweek. that, this was supposed to be a big Sunday.
Oh,
Yes.
And for those who don't know, on a big Sundays, we've been going through the Gospel of Mark. In our base camp gatherings, we're doing something different, but we've been going through the Gospel of Mark. And what perfect timing that was.
Where the stormy seas
Chapter
are cold.
4.
Yeah, we wrapped up chapter 4.
through the end of the chapter.
The end of the chapter.
Yeah,
And I did get a little animated. And I was saying I was a little more preachy than normally we're a little more interactive usually. But man, I was jazzed about it.
It was pretty jazz.
it's good. It's a good book to go through. As a series anyway. But the timing.
God's perfect word in His perfect time.
That's exactly right.
Ooh, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, you want to write that down?
Write that one down.
Wait, no, we haven't.
Well, I've got another one here in a minute.
Well, the thing about it that I wanted to communicate, and again, just to be clear, that passage, and I built up to the main point rather than the other way around.
Yeah.
Because the main point is not what was happening, but it revealed who Jesus is.
Yeah.
And there's something about being in anxious times or being in uncertain moments or facing crisis or storms or whatever, that it's not just about, hey, don't worry about those things. It's more about there's someone who is more trustworthy,
Right.
more strong, more powerful, more loving than anything that you'll ever go through. Mm-hmm. And as you focus on Him, by comparison, even difficult, terrible things aren't as difficult to go through.
Absolutely.
So it's focusing on Him, and that begins to melt away fear and other things.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
So I told you we cast from Julie's phone up onto the big TV screen. So, I mean, you're huge. On that screen.
that's horrifying.
You're huge up there. It's the only way I could see. Anyway.
Yeah.
But I was yelling at the screen, going, you got to know who's in your boat.
Gotta know who's in the boat.
It's really good.
Is that what's right? Yes. You got to know who's in your boat.
I like
A side point
A side point.
from Morey. Know who's in your boat.
Gotta know who's in
He's in your boat.
Jesus was in the boat, calmed the storm.
Yeah.
If they would have just known.
Yeah, and then again, that was what's so. I spent a little bit of time going through those passages from the Old Testament of how the Jewish people thought of God, and there's like
Yes.
one person who speaks to seas, makes the waves be calm, the one who can control the wind and speak to it. And when Jesus did that, the disciples, I just love that at the beginning they're afraid.
Right.
Right? Mm-hmm. But when Jesus calms the storm, it's not like they're like not afraid anymore. They're afraid in a whole different way. It's like, well, who is this? This isn't just some guy from God. This is God with us.
I don't know, though. Don't you think that would be like one of those moments when you're like, wow, if they didn't really get the okay, this is the real deal sort of thing, something like that, you're like, wow. That's
And what a way that whole chapter kind of hits a pinnacle at the end there, because there's all of the stuff about the sowers and the parable and the soils, and it just suddenly, if you're to reflect back on everything Jesus said and did in the first part of the passage through the lens of what happened at the end of the chapter, it just gives a whole lot more power and weight to those verses. So anyway, it was kind of fun.
I like it. Awesome. And then he said to them, why are you afraid? You still have no faith?
You still
After everything.
Well, see, and the thing is, my first reading of that too, it seems like, hey, come on, Jesus. I mean, they're about to fall out of the boat. There's, cut them some slack.
Yeah.
But the response is to, first of all, he told them, we're going to the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when they were in the crisis, they didn't believe that.
Right.
And then they also said, don't you care
Right.
that we're all going to die?
Yeah.
And they challenged Jesus caring about them.
Yeah.
And I think all of that fundamentally needed the rebuke of Jesus.
Well, sure.
He rebukes the wind, rebukes the waves, then he rebukes them.
Yes.
You know? So anyway.
The other thing that you brought up this is probably not as relevant to the conversation here, but I thought it was interesting because it's something that I've always passed over to in verse 36. And other boats were with them.
Yeah, other boats.
Other boats. What happened to all those?
Where are those guys? Did they go to the other side?
I'm pretty sure that the swim calm for them as well, but it's interesting, trying to, because I don't know about you guys, I'm in a creative job and everything, so I think visually whenever I read a story, of something that happened. And so I'm sitting there. My vision of this has always been this solitary.
Yeah.
Right.
But there's other boats there.
There's other boats.
Oh my goodness, they're all freaking out too.
I love that passage, and I love that little phrase because it is that little tag that's. It doesn't say anything about them. I mean, there's nothing else. We don't know if when the storm started and the wind, they just turned and went back. We don't know if they went on to the other side.
Right.
They don't know if they were all out there and then the seas calm. They all started applauding Jesus. We don't know, right? So, to me, it validates the account because it isn't the kind of detail. If you're fabricating, making up a story that you would have thrown in. Right. And so it reads like a memory of Peter.
Right.
You can almost see him. Peter's 30 years later. He's talking to John Mark. He's giving the account. And as he's giving it, as he thinks of stuff, he's throwing it in. And we were out on the lake, and there were some other boats there too. And then it just keeps going on to the main thing. So
was it Lee Strobel? Isn't that his name?
Strobel?
Case for Christ. Right?
Oh, yeah.
The journalistic, investigative journalist that was atheist. Anyway, in his search to try to discredit the Bible, which he thought, if I can discredit the Bible, then Christianity is discredited. And he found in his journey that it's probably one of the most validated books ever written.
Right.
And part of that was that oral tradition on how all this stuff was passed down back in the day.
Yeah.
And when these stories were being told, there were people there
right. Who could have
that were part of it.
Like, no, dude.
No, I was in the boat right next to him.
Yeah,
Man. That's exactly.
I was in the boat. What are you talking
It was the
about?
scariest thing in the world. I mean, I didn't hear him say "Peace be still" because all I could hear was, but all of a sudden, whew.
I was in the other boats. They could have said, "No, that didn't happen."
Right? Yeah.
What are you talking about?
I know. Anyway, I thought
That's good.
kind of,
I love that.
yeah.
So anyway, that was
Sorry,
fun.
a tangent.
That's not a tangent, man.
No, that's
good.
cool.
That was what we were talking about.
Yeah.
And that same, it is comforting in crazy times that our faith is in Jesus.
Yeah.
Not just some guy that we're learning about his teachings, but the living God who cared about us came into this world. And he's the one that speaks to the sea, right? Because he created the sea. It responds to his voice. He spoke it into existence. He can speak it into being quiet.
That's for sure.
Well,
That you look on Facebook and there's all kinds of memes, but the ones that strike me the most are the ones that say, God is bigger than the coronavirus.
Yeah. Well,
So, and that's, that really is the point.
That is true.
Right there.
There are some very cheeseball memes out there, though.
Oh, some of them are very cheeseball.
But that is
funny
true.
ones, too.
You don't have to draw the coronavirus like some giant. You don't have to.
Like Couscous says, no touchy.
No touchy. No touchy.
so you talk about casting cares. It was our day 2 of the
Bible reading plan?
our weekly thing. 1 Peter 5, 1 Peter 6. Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God, so that he may exalt you at the proper time. Verse 7. Casting all your cares on him, because he cares about you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cast
That's
your cares
pretty
because he cares. I
Yeah.
love it. Yeah, that's good, man. What time are we at right now? How long have we been yakking?
24 minutes. 24 and a half minutes. We're not doing
Wow.
That's not too
You
bad.
know?
Doing pretty good. I hope
Kind
we're
of flying through it.
bad. Time is going much slower
We had
right now than it's it's a phenomenon caused by the coronavirus.
Corona time.
Look,
Wait,
but
no.
before we hit record and everything, we were sitting here just talking about all of the positives, and it's a lot of times, especially whenever you turn the TV on or something, there's a lot of this weight and this heavy, negative stuff. But man, there's so much good stuff that comes out of any crisis, dare I say? I guess it is.
Yeah, it is. It certainly is.
Even though there's people that are definitely being affected by this, and they are suffering, and I think we all know some folks that are personally suffering, especially in the financial end of things, with jobs, the way this is affecting jobs and whatnot. But still, there's so much positive, and that's what we like to look at, seek out the positive, cling to the positives.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
be realistic, but also know that there's goodness.
I think what that does is it helps you maintain a mindset that whenever it comes time to help somebody, that the approach that you take to that is automatically a winnable approach, and if you're bogged down by the negatives and everything, and somebody asks for help, well, I don't know, man, it's gonna be so bad. And,
you start turning inward and just self-preservation, and it's kind of the way of the world,
Right.
It's a dog eat dog, every person for themselves kind of mindset.
We haven't ate our dog yet.
You haven't eaten them yet?
Not yet.
Well, know that you always can.
No,
Don't.
I still have 3 birds.
3 birds.
A cat, and then the dog is last.
I think everything's fine on food. I think we're good.
Birds go first.
Well, maybe the koi go first.
I've got some turtles. We could have a little soup.
Turtles.
Oh, yeah. Well, all right, guys. I think on that note.
Well, I was going to say also, there is also a lot of examples of selfless behavior.
Sure.
Where people are doing, our doctors and nurses and everybody in the medical industry, our people in uniform, our military. Oh my goodness, they're standing up doing their humanitarian job, which, by the way, they love to do.
Yeah,
it makes them feel good.
Love the guard.
Yeah, it's not just the guard. Navy stepping up.
What?
I'm happy about the Navy stepping up
with their hospital ships,
Navy.
right?
Yes,
that's fantastic.
So, but it's all of them. All of them are stepping up and doing what they need to do. And like our sister is a nurse.
Yay
for Jen.
I've been thinking about the fact that you have a sister.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, she's a nurse. Works in a hospital, and apparently there's this routine when she goes home for the day that she will take off the scrubs and everything in the garage.
Oh, right.
And then go straight to the shower.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Before getting in any contact with the rest of the family, just to keep them safe.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And I know it's
awesome.
a sacrifice, but they lovingly do it, accept that as part of the deal, and they're doing fine. So
I'm just praying about what can we do together, those of us who are healthy still, and as a church, how can we serve our community? How can we serve maybe the medical community? And don't have all of the answers to that just yet, but we're praying about it. We really want to know, how can we physically help people?
No, that's huge. Praying is huge.
Sure it is.
Praying for all that. A lot of this, we just need to stay out of the way. And I know that sounds...
Right. No, there's some things we can't do. We can't get a team of 20 people and go do anything. That's not what I mean. But how can we together...
We could do 10 people now.
We could pool resources. 9.5. Whatever that means. 12. Somebody on the computer. Somebody on their iPad.
Taylor could be there.
Oh, come on.
That was bad. Sorry.
Oh, my goodness.
Edit.
Yeah, edit that out. Not editing that.
Well, John, I think so. Like what we do in my reserve unit, right? We keep in constant contact with each other to make sure everybody's doing okay, and we do that amongst ourselves too. And we reach out through like this podcast, and then the streams on Sunday, checking in on our midweek check-in and everything. That's I think that in itself is being actively engaged in what's going on and
Yeah.
helping people and stuff like that, being present and letting folks know that we are there if they need. So.
We're also in communication with our teams and our jobs.
Yeah.
It's important to be that positive, hopeful influence
Sure.
for them, to be an example, of the love and hope and joy and peace.
Love. That makes me think of
It
something.
makes me think of
Just the love.
Do you know what the verse of the day yesterday on the YouVersion Bible app was?
Why?
do.
What was it, Tracy?
Maury?
Maury,
Can you
do
tell
you
us
know?
what it was?
It was John 3:16.
John 3:16.
That's where it all begins.
That's
It
right.
was.
John 3:16.
Yeah.
On the countdown on our live stream on Sunday, I almost paused it when it got to 3:16. I was going to pause it. Call you out, Maury, and then start it.
Oh, that's funny.
Hey, we made it to 30.
All right, well, you know what? It's probably time to wrap this up. I'm just glad that we're back together again. That we're doing the podcast again. We're going to keep doing the podcast as often as we can physically, healthily do it. Even toyed around doing it by Zoom if need be. So we're going to keep doing that. We'd love to hear from you. If you have anything we can help you with, any need, anything we can somehow meet your need, or if you just need somebody to pray for you, please let us know, and we'd love to do that. All right, guys. Before we hit final word, I want to just simply say, we meet every Sunday somewhere in the world at 10 o'clock on Sunday mornings. Right now, you can see our live stream via Facebook. Facebook Live, go to our Facebook page, Compass Church Colorado, and you can join us there. It's also available, that link, on our website, so you can just see, this weekend at Compass, you can check that out. But every week at 10 o'clock we meet. You can also see those past streams of the past 2 weeks. Just keep in mind the sound, right? But it's going to be great. We'd love for you to join us. You can do so anonymously as much as you want. But anyway, every Sunday, you can find out more at compassdenver.com. All right, guys, final word.
Love you guys. Love everybody.
Peace.
Grace and peace to you. That's all we got tonight. We're out. Good job, guys.
That was fun.